In our next exercise we have a production situation, and we want to see how the costs are formed, what about the profits, and look at a bit differing scenarios concerning the solution of this problem. We have a product that we're selling with a market price of 16.25. Well, this is the money coming in, but our production costs are 12.25. So this is what we have to pay for the production inputs and process. Now we also have something called penalty cost. Right now we will just state that penalty cost is something if we're short of the order that the customer has placed. Well, then we have to pay this penalty cost and later still meet the demand. But let us come back to that issue later on. Now there's also something called holding cost, which means that we have a number of periods on which we're producing. Let's write them down in here. So period numbers are 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and the holding cost means that if we have too much of inventory at hand, we have to retain it in some kind of a storage. We have to pay for different costs like heating, handling, loss, or some kind of loss of goods, and we don't want that to happen very much as well. I mean, we don't want too many penalties, we don't want too many holding costs, which are the opposing sides of the same story. Now let's say that we have decided to produce, and now the next thing is that our production horizon is quite short. It's six periods, let's say 6 weeks, and we cannot change our production amount in that short period of time. So if we decide and write in here 100 for the production amount, then this is going to be true for all the months. Okay, now we have to give some names. At first, let's select these and do formulas. Create from selection, left column. And now a few more names. These names we'll give in a long way. We do formulas, create from selection, left column, and remember now, this block here is going to be called units produced. This block here is going to be called demand, and so forth. So now to the units produced. Our units produced, we will start production actually only on the first period, and the units produced is going to be always equals production amount. And we copy this formula. This is the same for all the time periods. Now we also see that something happens in the 0th time period. Namely, we have in the 0th time period we have something in the inventory. We have some kind of leftovers of our good. Okay, so we have 50 in the inventory, we've produced 100, and now we have to see what happens in the first period. Namely, we have a demand of 100 as well. So we have to write down how much we will have in the inventory by the end of the first period. We had 50, we produced 100 more, so 150. We sold 100, so we have 50 in the inventory in the end of the first period as well. And the formula goes like this: equals C14 plus D10 minus D12. So here it is. So it means that that we can basically copy this formula, because you see, always when we copy it, it takes the previous periods ending inventory and it adds the production to it and it subtracts the demand. So here we had 50 in the end of the first period, we produced 100 more, so we once again have 150, and now we sold 110, so we in the end will have 40 in the inventory, which is diminishing. Let's see what happens later. The demand will be actually forecasted here, and as we see, the demand is raising in the beginning, it's peaking in the middle, and it's falling thereafter. So we see that this peak in demand actually eats away our inventory, and since even the lower periods later on are above 100, we actually are going steeply into minuses and into penalties. Okay. Now the next thing we want to do is we want to see what about the money coming in or the revenue.